A lot of these things happen, but there is one that has some humor in it, and this one actually happened about, I don't know, 1990, and it's funny, but it's very real, and I think it's the most outrageous one. This is also in relation to healing. I had a tenant, her name was Carol, and she had 2 parrots in a cage. They were her babies. She was, I wouldn't say autistic, but she was a very closed personality. And one morning she said one of them had died. I said, well, you know, Carol, I realize that the bird has died, but I really would like you to connect with the spirit of the bird because it's still here around you, you know, and you love the bird. And I had no idea if the message was going through or not. And she was very sad, and I said, why don't we go to a movie? That will, you know, distract you. So we went to the Betawood, you know, shopping center at the time. There was a deli there, about 20 minutes from the house. And I said, why don't we have some soup? Because, you know, the movie is starting in about, you know, half hour from us. So the deli, the room of the deli was a little bit larger than this one, you know, and the staircase was there. And it was large that way. And at that corner, Carol sat with her back, you know, not far from the wall, and I was in front of Carol. We both had lentil soup, if I recall. And then over there were 2 elderly people, and one of them was facing that wall, and the other one had the back against it. As I am talking to Carol about her bird and the spirit of her birds, and there was a lot of, you know, empathy going to her, 2 ice cream cones fell from the ceiling. They were chocolate and vanilla. I mean, I just saw them, bingo. They just fell behind Carol. So I said, Carol, 2 ice cream cones fell from the ceiling. There was no change in Carol's expression. But the man sitting there, they had just fallen in front of him. He had seen them. So he said, why don't you go downstairs and ask those people to come and clean up and tell them that we saw it. So I go downstairs, I go to the cash register, and I tell the woman, you know, I'm really sorry to bother you, but 2 ice cream cones fell from the ceiling. Could you please send somebody upstairs to clean up? And as soon as I said that, I noticed a shift in her eyes, and I knew exactly what she was going to do, right? Call the police or something. So I said, oh, it's okay. You know, some other people saw it, it's all right. So, young man went upstairs, cleaned up the mess, and he left. At that moment, I think, was the really interesting part. The old man had seen that. He, you know, right in front of his, you know, his eyes. But, you know, ice cream cones cannot fall from the ceiling. And he said, oh, the children must have done it. Where are the children? I mean, you know, there were no children upstairs. There were no children on the stairs. We've been there for about, you know, 8, 9 minutes. So the man created in his mind non-existing children to explain a phenomena he had witnessed. And afterwards, you know, I studied this and I realized that there must be a lot of this happening because people cannot integrate these levels of reality. Otherwise, you know, the house could be falling down. I mean, we could be flying around in space. People cannot deal with this. So, you know, the problem is, could I deal with it? Well, I knew it was psychokinesis by that time. I was, you know, reading books. You know, this was in 1990. But then other things started happening with